Hold on, this computer. Hi everyone, welcome to today's release cutting meeting. Today is 31st of October 2023. Today we'll be cutting v1.6.0-beta.1 beta release. As usual, we'll be following sincere code of conduct, which boils down to being nice and kind to each other. Without further ado, I'll start as usual with cutting a release doc notes in the doc, and just to confirm, reach out to or ask Navas to get a green light, even though I already did yesterday. I don't think we have any blockers, right, Navas?
Yeah, we don't really have a blocker, but just to get this to attention, the upgrade test on main, it has been failing consistently, but we are aware that this is an upstream bug. I'm just trying to find the bug on the CAPI side, which I can share here.
Yeah, I was also following the discussions. Thanks for the update, but for this beta release, we shouldn't be blocked, so I'll move on then. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't checked actually the verified job today. That should be fine because it runs once a week, but I'll check it. Okay, yeah, should be fine. Nice screen. Yeah, then the PR. Let me share it with you in case you missed it. I already did review.
I'm going over your comments as we speak, Furkat. Please, if folks haven't reviewed it, go ahead, and then I can make the changes as we go.
By the way, your PR is merged, Guillermo, for updating the imaging kit builder tools. And I think if you just rebase your branch, we could use the rocket emoji, but I saw you already retitled it. That should be also fine, just in case.
Yeah, okay. Let me make these changes, and I'll rebase and push that and see if it works.
Yeah, we could just test it in this go. For the ones who just joined or joined a bit late, we are going through the changelog PR. I shared it on the chat. Please take a look and let us know what you think. If it looks good to you, probably it would be good if you could comment on the PR. It's already force pushed. Oh, it's failing. Strange. Is it so that it's not recognizing the rocket type now? Like rocket emoji?
So the error now seems different because before it was just saying this is not allowed, but now it's panicking. Which makes me think that now it's using the new code, just for whatever reason, the new code is not able to handle the emoji, which is strange.
Yeah. Yeah, we wouldn't be spending time on this. We'll just retitle it back. I just wanted to see if it's working. But yeah, we should follow up on this.
Yeah. Michael, I think you wrote this code. Do you have any idea why this could be happening?
I'm looking at it. Should be related to this code block. I'm trying to refamiliarize. It's like constant. There's no emoji release in this switch case statement. So yeah, that's the bug.
Sorry, is it?
Yeah, sorry, I'm not speaking clearly. The code link I shared in the QBuilder release tools, there's a switch case for different types of emojis. If you just like click on one of like emoji docs or whatever and follow the GitHub link back to where it's defined, the first one. Yep. So there's like an emoji release constant, but it's not in the switch case. So that's my mistake when I made my PR. That's why it's getting down to the panic.
Okay, I'll retitle in the meantime. It seems that it's missing in both switch statements, both for emoji and string method.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
Could you follow up?
Yes, I can do that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And then once it's merged, we'll ask once again for the new release, then bump the CAPI, then after that should be fine. Yeah. Thank you. Right. Going back. That's good. We found the issue and we were able to test it. Any other comments? Let me go through one final time after you pushed. This seems to be missing still. Guillermo, probably you forgot this one on line 65. Or do we need this multiple eyes thing? Probably not. And yeah, I think these two has to be addressed still. And this one too. Did you commit your changes? I'll wait for someone else to LGTM. If it looks good to you, of course.
I just had a discussion today with Killian about dropping machine pools in 1.6. This is branching out of the test flake we are seeing on main. And Killian apparently had a discussion with Stefan, and then he was sharing his thought with me that probably it would be better if we drop out support, not really support, at least pull out the tests for release 1.6 and then proceed with release rather than blocking the release altogether, because apparently this bug is a little too hard to catch. We have our initial findings on the issue. Let me paste the issue. But that is what the thought was, that we would drop out the release for machine pool for release 1.6 because it's an experimental feature, both cluster class and machine pool. But we have to find a way to mention it out on the on our release notes. So I was just going through the PR and I saw the first thing we mentioned. First point of our highlights is machine pools are not supported in cluster class clusters, which might be changing. And we're thinking of bringing this up tomorrow in the tomorrow's meeting, in the release team meeting, and in the CAPI meeting. I can add my thoughts in there. I'm just trying to get that fake.
Yeah, sorry, but it's not blocking this PR, right? Because you're talking about now the final minor release, not the current beta release.
But I'm not sure if it's okay to call out that machine pools are not now supported in cluster class clusters.
Why? Did we already remove the test from the main branch?
No. So main still has it, but the idea was that we just had this conversation like 5 minutes before I joined the meeting, so it's still fresh. But the idea was that while we are porting over the tests from main to 1.6, we will drop the tests, including machine pools, and only then we'll probably be able to see uh, the health of release 1.6 before we do a final release. Because Killian's suggestion was that since our main is already too flaky with that one bug, and this is the bug income I'm talking about. So his thought was that since main is already too flaky with an existing issue with machine pools and the way they are working with cluster class, if there were ever a new bug or something in release 1.6, it would be really hard to identify. So it is better we have a cleaner signal without machine pools in release 1.6. But we would have that on main though. So main would still look a little broken, and the release 1.6 will not have tests for machine pools.
Yeah, I got it. But my question is, or my still confusion is, you're talking about the tests right now, right? The machine pools test in cluster class, but the support itself is already in and it's supported. And I think we should leave it as is because we haven't removed any support or test yet. Or are you suggesting now we should put some kind of disclaimer in the current PR that it will be removed in the future?
Something of that sort. Probably have a disclaimer that we have an ongoing issue on the flake, which we are trying to. I mean, I'm more open for discussion at the point, not trying to come to a conclusion. We have an ongoing buggy issue which we're trying to track, and it is related to machine pools in cluster class. So I'm not sure if we should have a disclaimer in here that we might drop it. I mean, that is where we see heading towards, unless there are other opinions in tomorrow's CAPI call or release team meeting tomorrow when Killian and others bring it up. But at least for now, I'm not sure if we should add a disclaimer or not. So it's really open for poll at the moment.
My opinion is that if the decision hasn't been made, we shouldn't add a disclaimer here. We just wait until there is a decision and then we announce it on Slack or whatever else.
That sounds about right to me. What do you guys think, others?
Yeah, since it's not finalized, probably it's fine as is right now. In the worst case, maintainers could just edit the release notes. I don't know. If you wanna reach out, or I don't know, just double check with maintainers right now, well, we could do that. But I think it's as is fine because we haven't removed anything and support is already there.
Yeah, I think, since we have not removed anything yet, and the removal part will only happen when we create the release jobs for release 1.6, I think it is good to have this for now. Let me just comment in on the PR, but
Because
it's not
if
really a
you,
blocker though.
yeah, if you remove it right now, then we have to do the same for the previous beta release, right? Or it's the same thing. So
I agree. Yeah, I think thinking about it, I think it is good to leave it as is for now, and then depending on the solid discussion or a conclusion we come out of from tomorrow's release meeting and CAPI call, we can then modify. We can take the path we want to, either update the release notes or just leave them as is and really have a caveat for the release candidate.
Sounds good. If you could sum up your thoughts commenting there, it would be nice. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll add a note on the background. I don't really want to hold the PR for adding the comment. So I've LGTM'd it for now, but I'll be adding the comment just as a reference point.
Meanwhile, this has all labels we need. This should be merging soon, and proud jobs or like workflow runs should kick in. We could use this time to discuss anything that you're working on or related to the release team, or if you have any questions on the things that you're working on, we could discuss those if you want, if anyone has anything to bring up, because we'll be just waiting here. I remembered we didn't complete going through the improvement issues last time, and we have not all of us here, but at least we could discuss some of the bits if you're all fine with that. Okay. I'll check this time. The time. So let me see this. There is this one that was assigned to Killian, but then it seems to someone, if someone is interested, that he might take a help. So if you're interested, this is about generating proud job YAMLs. TLDR here is each time when we create a new branch for the new or for the minor release, we have to copy over the CI jobs from one or from the old ones to the new one. They are almost identical except some versioning and stuff. So the idea here is to have some kind of tool that could automate that part, so that you just provide few arguments to it, and it will generate the YAML configuration of new job for you. And there is some prior art that he's linking here in EKS distro proud jobs that I went through, and they have this tool which basically automatically generates the YAML files that I think it's somewhere documented here. Yeah, I think it's here. So yeah, something like this. So you should provide this kind of configuration, and then run the tool, and it should create that new job for you. Something similar. So the idea is that, and if someone is interested, please reach out, or we can discuss the details if you have any questions. And other than that, I think they're all taken up. I have some questions on these. For the comp team, probably Guillermo. About this one, I know Stephen already picked this up, but there was another one which is almost identical to what you have been or what you are looking for, Stephen. So you're looking into this consume beta and RC releases. Right after this, there is another one which is how to consume the nightly cluster API releases. So I was commenting out if we could merge this into one because they are almost the same thing. If that's okay for you.
Yep, sounds good.
Do you have any questions with that, Stephen? With that, how to do it, or?
Not exactly. To be honest, I haven't had too much time to look into it. I did see your comment, and I don't conceptually see any problems with it, but yeah, I might need some help with the test framework piece of that. Just because I haven't spent a terrible amount of time looking at sort of the testing infrastructure.
Sure. We can take it offline if you want. Feel free to
but
reach
yeah,
out.
at a top level now, I don't see any problem with that now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Then I'll merge it a bit later. Do we have any updates on this one, Guillermo? Adding the expandable auto-generated release nodes. It was assigned to Nicola. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, no. I will just vote to unassign it. I reach out. I don't know. Last time we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. He hasn't got back to me, so I'm assuming that he's busy or he's not checking Slack. I will just unassign it, and someone in the next cycle or us, if we get there before the end of the cycle, can take it. But I will assume that work hasn't even started.
Okay, no worries. Thanks for the update. I will reassign them. And yeah, this is also one free item. The next two.
Yeah, I don't think we ever started those.
Yeah, exactly. I think we need separate issues for them to better understand it. I'm not sure I'm getting the idea fully here, but
I can maybe explain.
Sure, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, so this is, for example, one example of this will be the Kubernetes version support. That is, it's always constant for the same cycle. Well, usually constant, but usually once we set it, it's the same thing for all the patch releases, right? For example, for the one that we are carrying today, the beta 1 is the same thing for the beta 2, sorry, for the beta 0, right? Because the same Kubernetes support for 1.6 is going to be there until 129 gets released. So the idea here is, instead of copy pasting and having to figure it out, right? Should we just have a file in the repo per branch that establishes what is the Kubernetes support for that specific branch? And then the release tool can just read from there as if it was, metadata for the release branch, and then populate the release nodes accordingly, instead of requiring manual intervention. Same thing would apply for the highlights, right? Usually each release, each minor release has the same highlights for all the release candidates, all the beta releases. So should we just have a file that establishes what are the highlights? And the only thing that the release nodes have to do is just read from that file and put that into the output.
Yeah, that sums it clearly. Currently, we just hard coded in the tool itself, right? All the highlights and Kubernetes version.
Right, yeah. So right now we have a placeholder, like it just says the title, Kubernetes versions, and then you have an X that you have to fill right with the right Kubernetes version. So on each release that we create, we need to go and manually change the output of that of the tool. You know, it's once you have had a patch release for one specific minor version, it's as easy as going to the release page in GitHub, copy paste. But you know, it's more manual work, more prone to errors. My honest opinion, I don't think this is super high priority. It doesn't take a long time, and I don't think we've ever had a mistake on the Kubernetes version, right? Because you basically go copy paste, and it's 2 numbers that you have to change. So I don't think it's a big deal. For the highlights, it's mostly the same thing. On the first beta release, we just need to figure out what the highlights are, and then from then on, you just copy paste. So not a big deal.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, ideas, comments? So it's not a high priority. It looks like low-hanging fruit. We could just leave it for now here, right? But probably we could create an issue with what you explained already, so that anyone who wants to work on it have a better idea compared to what we have here, which is not that much.
Sure. Yeah, we can have an issue.
Great. How about this one?
So this is what you commented on the PR, right? When there is a redundant, when there are multiple PRs updating the same dependency, we only want one entry. Right now, that's done manually.
Yeah, right. So probably the tool should automatically detect them and merge them into one somehow, right?
Ideally, yes. Ideally, yes. It's not always easy because we don't have a standardized PR title for BAM dependency. The ones that are done by Dependabot, they're easy because they always have the same format, right? So in a way, we can come up with some rule in code that does that automatically. The problem is when someone does it manually and they follow a different format, like they don't have the full path for the module or something like that, or they don't have the version, then it's very difficult because you don't know either what's being updated, or you don't know the version to which is being updated. I think there's definitely some work to do. If we can cover at least the ones done by Dependabot and we leave the rest, it's probably taking care of 80% of the lines, which reduces a lot the amount of manual work. So in my opinion, this one is a little bit more useful than the previous one because this one does require one.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, if no one's working on that, I'm happy to take it.
Yeah, that's available. Are talking about this one, right? Format dependencies.
Yeah.
Sure. Let me assign it to you directly. Cool. Then what else? We have some on release note tool should not ignore squash PRs from Michael. That is in the call. Meanwhile, I'm checking. So GitHub Action is running, so we are fine on this side. Do we have any updates on this one, Michael?
Sorry, I had to step away to get some lunch. Sorry, I know you've also pinged me a lot about this PR or this issue as well. I was looking into solving this with like the Git CLI tool. Then like I was comparing it with the upstream release tool and is using Go GitHub a lot. So I was starting in that direction. I saw Guillermo also made a PR. Well, I just saw it yesterday where he was also refactoring the tool to use Go GitHub. So I think I'll just focus on that direction. Like, try to do this using Go GitHub, not Git CLI like that. But I don't have like a PR to share or anything like that.
Yeah, no worries, and that is absolutely fine. Just wanted to know how it's going and if you need any help or what we can do with that. But otherwise, no pressure and no worries.
I will maybe suggest if you already have a specific PR or a specific way to test this error, pull my branch and test it like the from the PR that I have open and test it with that code, because we might not have this problem anymore. The problem, if I'm not mistaken, was coming from reading the local Git history and then try to parse through the messages, and it wasn't able to handle squash commits. But since now that code is looking to PRs that have been merged, it shouldn't matter if the commits were squashed or not, because PRs are, they're in a different entity. So I suspect that this just might be a non-issue if we go with that approach.
Yeah, I agree. I do have a way to like reproduce or test it, so I'll do that and let you know on the PR you raised.
Cool, sounds good. Awesome.
Cool, Fox. Thank you. I'm checking this. It's still running. And yeah, the image pushing is also running. So we still have time. Then I think this is up to date. We need some more reviews from maintainers. Other than that, we look good. I think. Yeah. Although I have some concerns about these two. Navas, do you know if we have any update with these two about the creating SBOM and this last one? Yeah, they're not like super high priority, just if there are any updates that I missed, probably.
Not really at the moment, because I haven't heard back from Anurag or Sunat about either of the issues. So not really sure.
Okay, no worries. Thanks for that.
Also, circling back on the Netlify issue, the last comment, we had a discussion on the CAPI channel as well with Cecile. So the thought was that we cannot automate it. Was that the conclusion?
Yeah, so it's not really, we cannot automate it, but there's no way really. And I think you were reaching out to
The channel.
yeah, the other channel on the Contribex comms, I think. But then after that, I'm not sure how to handle it really.
No one got back to the
Yeah.
post I created.
Although I would think it's just one-time job per release, if I'm not mistaken. It should be fine as is, just to have one person and do it manually. But yeah, other things differently, probably. But yeah, we can follow up on the chat again.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any other things that you want to discuss on this one before I close this? No? Okay. I think this is running faster than it used to be. Thanks, Stephen.
It didn't end up being as fast as I hoped, but I think it is like the averages are lower by like, I don't know, 7 to 12 minutes, which, you know, I guess is better than it used to be.
Yeah, of course. Especially when you have 2 or 3 releases at once, then
yeah,
that's a lot.
I think I do want to return to maybe adding some more logging, because I have a feeling that the biggest variable at this point is how long it's sitting in the queue. But then again, even if we figure out that that's the biggest variable, I don't think we can really do anything about the wait time, because GCP is just going to do, I don't even know who owns this cloud provider account that we're using. So it would be interesting though, just at least confirm that theory.
Yeah, sure. I have no idea as well, to be honest, who owns yeah. So it's a bit tricky, but you already did a good job, I think, and it's saving times. So draft release is ready. Action run successfully. I'll just check this. I'll wait for this to complete, and then once that's done, I'll go on with creating a PR to promote the images.
I haven't caught up on the video from last time either. So is the only difference in the actual release process for like the beta and RC candidates just what you're passing in that environment variable when you're stepping through these instructions?
Yeah, exactly. So
okay.
When you're promoting images, and another thing which is different is, let me show you on the tasks here. We don't publish basically cluster cattle to Homebrew for the RC or beta releases. So for example, last time, we cut 3 releases at once, beta from 1.6 from 1.5 and 1.4, and we opened the PR for publishing Cluster in Homebrew, and that was for v1.5, because yeah, that's the only difference. So this time we'll just fully skip this one because it's not needed. Yeah, that's the only difference.
So it's just like a subset of the normal tasks, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, I'll share another screen. So yeah, let's promote the images. v1.6. Oh, before that, I forgot to check if it was pushed to staging registries. I'll quickly check. Okay, we should be good now. Beta.1. I'll source the other things and make promote images. PR is there. Please take a look. I will compare the chars to the ones that we have. Yeah, with this, once it's merged, it should be just pulling it and asking the maintainer to publish the release on GitHub. Yeah. I don't want to hold more you folks from your job, so feel free to drop. I can take it offline and make sure that it's released, but there's nothing for all of us to wait here and just waste our time. If there are no objections or things that you want to discuss, of course. Okay. Yeah,
Right.
if not, yeah. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
Thank you, Furqat.
Thank you.